what reparations would you want?
Reparations actually begin with an acknowledgement of the historical injustices by way of chattel, colonial and neo-colonial enslavement. And therefore, one of the things that we are calling for is an all-party parliamentary commission of inquiry for truth and reparatory justice to explore the impact of this history on our present.
And what do you think of the offer of a prison?
The offer of a prison is ludicrous. In fact, prisons were developed as part of the penal system to keep enslaved Africans subjugated. And so this is really a relic of colonialism.
And Peter Bone, it's a pretty crass thing to go and do, isn't it? I mean, popular in Britain to get rid of villains, but...
Well, it's not popular to build. It's not popular to build a prison in Jamaica at taxpayers' expense. Look, people have come over from Jamaica. Some of them have done things that are very bad, violence and drugs. They're in prison. They should be sent back to Jamaica. But there's no question that taxpayers should provide a prison. It's one of the, it wouldn't, whether it's Jamaica or anywhere else. If you do wrong, and you should be sent home. And
but what about the wider point about reparations?
Well, I think that's totally. I mean, that's
colonial.
Yeah, I mean, that is a totally different issue. And I mean, we just put the prisoners just what it is. I think just a mistake. But when we're talking about the Prime Minister's over there promoting goodwill and investing in the infrastructure of Jamaica. But when I chaired the all-party group on human trafficking, against modern-day slavery, there are more slaves today than there were at the time of Wilberforce. And what we should be doing is ending that slavery. And, of course, the Prime Minister has led. We have a modern-day slavery bill. And I think that's what we should be looking to the future, not worrying about the past.
But what's happening in terms of who has influence there? I mean, if you look at the difference between the way Britain is behaving and the way China is behaving in Jamaica, does Britain really have any influence there?
Yes, Britain has huge influence. Many of the institutions, the fact that we still have Queen Elizabeth II as the head, the fact that we still follow the Westminster parliamentary model, the education system is still built on colonial education. So Britain has a huge influence politically and economically. And a lot of British companies are in the region and are the ones who are really going to benefit from many of these packages.
Doesn't that precisely place more responsibility on David Cameron to do a little bit more, to think a bit bigger?
Well, I think he is, but I think the idea of reparations is wrong. I mean, I know that there's a group of MPs out in Jamaica at the moment, and there's a lot of close contact between the two countries. But
why is it wrong? I mean, you just gloss over that very quickly. I mean, this is a country that wouldn't exist as it is were it not for Britain's past behaviour.
But I don't think we should be looking backwards hundreds of years. We should be looking to the problems we have now, which the Prime Minister is addressing. And on the question of slavery, we should be doing a lot more to end this evil. And let's face it, slavery is worse today than it was 100 years ago.
I beg to differ. We are the descendants of the enslaved, and it's quite clear that you're quite ignorant about our condition today. There have been 2 reparations marches that have been taken place in Britain, in London, from Brixton to the Houses of Parliament on the 1st of August. This has been ignored because they want to actually deny that there is a reparations movement. Well, we exist, and we intend for our voices to be heard.
Peter Bone?
Well, and if you're saying, was slavery a bad thing and was it terrible? Of course, but everyone accepts that. Surely what we should be addressing now, as the Prime Minister is the problems Jamaica have with infrastructure and development, and that's what we're doing. We shouldn't be... I just don't see what the advantage is of what you're saying. And I've not
Just in 10 seconds, Esther, if you will.
When you have a Prime Minister whose family benefited in compensation, and you have...
Really?
what do you mean, really?
I mean, that is the most extreme argument.
It is not an extreme argument.
If that's what you're basing on it, you're ruining your arm.
Of our humanity. And this is it's ludicrous.
I think you're living in the past. We need to live in the future.
We're talking about contemporary legacy.
I'm very sad to say we're out of time, because we could obviously go on, but thank you both very much indeed.
No living British citizen was part of the slave trade, and we're not responsible any of us living today, for the crimes of dead slave traders. So why are we being asked to apologise, to pay reparations? Writing someone a cheque is not going to undo what someone feels about their history.
What if we're still profiting from it?
But we all profit. That people all over the world are living a life that they may not have led if slaves hadn't been used. We know that. Every
Yasmin disagrees.
city, every building built by slaves.
This from someone. Okay, you live in a country. No, listen. Can I speak? You live in a country which, after the First World War, Germany was absolutely forced to pay reparations, and they're still paying off. Oh, the Brits don't worry about that. They've never said, oh well, living young Germans had nothing to do with that. Japan was made to pay huge reparation bills. Somehow Britain, when called upon to at least make a gesture, the royals actually benefited hugely. So did Tate and Lye. So I find it so extraordinary that's when you disengage.
But they lost a war, Japan and Germany.
Yeah, yes, reparations was insisted on. Nobody said, okay, we're going to forget this, it happened, it's history. When it suits us, right? And I think Jamaica, I have a lot of Jamaican friends, they wouldn't have been this exercised because they have been fond of the royals without the Windrush scandal. That really shocked them.
Something odd is happening with this trip. I don't quite get it. I can't work out. Firstly, this idea that a letter has been written by 100 Jamaican leaders, that sounds like a lot of people, but then 100 leaders? And then the other thing is, I thought William and Kate had people saying, look, watch, this is going to be a tricky one. But obviously nobody said that to them. So they keep going to places where they're told they're not welcome.
Well, I think Barbados started something by declaring itself a republic and dissociating from that. But I think the Windrush scandal has had a real impact.
But now
this is bobsleighing, by the way.
It seems crazy to me that we're making moral judgments today in the 21st century about what happened 200 years. We had Tony Blair apologising for the potato famine, saying, what was he said? He was expressed his sorrow and regret for something that happened a century before he was born.
But I think that's
nonsense. It's empty gesture politics.
Carol, that's decency.
It's
that's
not.
Absolutely decency.
No, it isn't. It's empty gesture.
Do you know that the effects of slavery are still playing out among Black Americans and in the Caribbean? It isn't over for them.
So how do you think writing a cheque is how is writing a cheque going to solve their problem?
Oh, I think
what they might feel in the head.
A little bit.
How? Tell me how. Explain how.
It is one of the poorest countries in the world.
So you think that never mind because it's one of the poorest countries. How is it going to help what they feel about slavery? How is it going to change what they feel?
They will feel it has been acknowledged.
That's what
but
needs
you
to
can't
happen. You don't acknowledge things with money.
I'm sorry.
Doesn't it show you care?
I'm sorry. You can't just dismiss a history because it doesn't agree with you.
I'm pretty sure that the next generation, our descendants, are going to talk about us in the way we're now talking about what happened 200 years ago. Are they going to talk about? Are they going to criticise us for burning fossil fuels? Are they going to criticise us for letting kids have sex changes and start taking hormones aged 14?
Was it?
So we're going. Every age has wrongdoing.
My question was just that was it that long ago? And here's why I asked that. I was born in 1965. Lincoln was shot in 1865. So only 100 years before I was born. He's the guy who said, we're not having slavery in the state. It doesn't seem, suddenly to me now, it doesn't seem that long ago.
But let's just get over this myth. There were people in this country, women in particular, who, while the slave trade was going on, absolutely opposed it on moral grounds. The Quakers in America and here.
But we got out ahead of
our sensibility.
But that's the point.
They knew.
But we got out ahead of the States, didn't we, on some of this stuff? You
had the abolition with William, but actually, by that time, a lot of women weren't buying sugar because they thought, and what's his name, the potter, the famous potter,
Woodward. Well, hang on, Stoke. Yeah. Is it Wedgwood?
They made these beautiful plaques of slaves looking up and messages saying this is wrong.
Okay.
They knew.
All right. So it's still very current for some.
This is work archives. Okay. When Trump came into office, there were a lot of celebrations. And actually the people were actually celebrating. We even composed song for him during campaigns. Are always the black people, the Latinos. Now, guys, I want to say something here that the Latinos are always the number one haters towards the black people. I just want to be honest in this conversation. Now, in the video and even in the title, you realize that I'm saying that white folks already say that why don't black people save the Latinos or even the white people from this oppressive system that they are actually facing right now? Is it the right time to seek for help from the black people? That is my question. And why are you crying for the mistakes that you created for yourself? So I want to talk about these consequences that these people are actually building here and there. Now, I want to say that the truth is actually coming out. The truth is actually coming out. So, why some Latinos are actually reaching out to black communities for help? These are kind of topics that I'm actually falling in love with. Now, the idea that the Latinos, the ones group, the people, the ethnic group that once composed song, celebrated the victory of Trump, are now seeking for help. Yet, the help that they're seeking from, the people that they're seeking help from, are actually the same people who actually advised them that don't vote for this person. So, the idea that the Latinos are actually begging for help from the black people isn't about weaknesses. It is about the recognition. Like across America, both groups are realizing that they face the same system of oppression, just wearing a different mask. I want to talk about this oppression. This oppression, you guys, I don't know how you have been lamenting about it, but the oppression has always been the poor versus poor, poor versus the wealth or rich people. Who are actually gaining in this system? Is it the poor people or the black or the rich people? And me, according to me, I like to say that the rich people are actually gaining. And the brackets that I want to compromise, I want to talk about is especially the corporations and even the organizations, right? These are actually people who are actually gaining. Remember, there are some of the Americans who are actually doing close to 4 jobs, maybe, let me be honest, 4 jobs. And you'll realize that the more they do jobs, the more their pocket becomes empty. Like, am I making sense? Like, the more they do jobs, their pockets become dry and empty. So this has forced a lot of Latinos and even the white people to come out and say, man, we need to demonstrate, we need to coax, we need to coerce the black people so that they can get into our inbox, so that they can help us demonstrate and even fight the same government that they once voted for. So for decades, you'll also realize that the white supremacy has always played a divide and even the rule game. Like they're keeping black and brown communities competing for visibilities, resources, and even power instead of even uniting. But today, you learn that many Latinos are actually waking up to something black Americans has understood for centuries, that unity is the only weapon against the oppression. Now, black people have been the moral and cultural engines of resistance in the United States of America. Like, they have faced the oppression close to 400 years plus. So, they have gained that resistance. Now, this, I think, this almost the first time, let me say, almost the first time the white people and even the Latinos are actually crying and begging, man, the system that we once voted for, is actually not, is against us. Like, We as Latinos, we are losing jobs. We as Latinos, our farms are actually getting destroyed. The policies Trump is actually laying day and night are actually being making it worse for us Latinos. Now we are seeking for help from black people. Now black people have also have these morals of resistance, the engine of resistance, and that's why you find that these Latinos are actually coming out to beg for assistance. Now, from the civil rights movement to modern activities, it is the black struggles that taught the world how to fight injustice with discipline, art, and even the courage. Now, Latino communities from indeed immigrants facing deportation to Afro-Latinos confronting racism within their own culture are realizing that the black fight for equality built the very blueprint they now need to follow. This isn't just begging, it is solidarity being reborn. Like they want to know, they are learning it, they are doing that. We need to get united for us to fight the system, because okay, the system that we are supporting, we have realized that this system, it is no longer helpful for us. Even the manifestos the Trump actually did during a campaign, they're actually not going through. He has actually forgotten us, and that Trump is only focused to the corporation, is only focused to the rich people, is only focused on how he can try as much as possible to detain and to remove even the illegal immigrants in the country. So who are actually the beneficiaries? The rich white people, the rich white people. So black Americans know this. Now they know that has always been their game. Now, because both groups share the same enemy, a system that thrives when they are divided, when black, brown unite, scares the establishment, the unity of those black could shift voting blocks, reshape communities, and even redefine American. So my final thought is that it is not begging, it is recognition, that it is understanding that black power and Latino strength together are what? Unstoppable. So that's all I had for in this video. My name is Wokakes, but before that, I want to say that when these two forces unite with respect, shared purpose, or an understanding, they don't just ask for help, they create a history. So my name is Wok Archives.